Chelsea's 0-0 draw away to Bournemouth is the reality check that Chelsea fans need. We need to lower our expectations because after this international break, after Pochettino has had some time to assess the first sort of few games of the season, assess his players, assess the character, for Chelsea to still fall short shows that there are gaping holes in this plan. There is a lot of issues that need to be addressed. And given all the chances we created against Bournemouth, the fact that we couldn't tuck any of them away shows that problems still remain. There is a real need to work on our chemistry. We need to understand each other. The players do not know each other well enough yet. There's been all this chaos and things look to finally have settled. And now's the time where we need to be patient and understand that we can't potentially go into games expecting wins anymore. I think we need to expect that Chelsea do not lose. Draws are going to be our new currency. We need to make sure that we are not losing games of football, and that needs to be the priority at this point. I think that should be the reality for Chelsea fans because we are a new team and they're clearly, despite all the optimism of pre-season, there are a lot of issues on the training ground, on the pitch that have not quite been resolved. And this inexperienced Chelsea team are not going to hit the ground running this season. I have come to terms with that. This Bournemouth game for me was that reality check. And I think that all the toxic vibes, all the criticism around Chelsea at the moment, we need to sort of have a bit more, lower these expectations. We need to be a bit more realistic about this season. I don't think we're going to break into Europe. I think we're going to have a very disjointed start of this season. And I hope that towards the second half of the season, we're going to start to find that chemistry, find that formula and get some big wins under our belt. And that is going to be the formula that we continue and that we can build upon. But it is not going to happen anytime soon. This first half of the season, I really believe that. Bournemouth played open. We played a Bournemouth team that wanted to win that game. And after playing so many teams that play the low block and try and smother us, and play deep in their own half, we played an open team and we still couldn't get the win. Bournemouth are not really a team that I feel should be on the same level as Chelsea, that we shouldn't be able to beat. And they pretty much made it look like an even game of football. And that is concerning, but that just shows where we're at. And I want to talk about this Chelsea analysis specifically. But guys, before I do so, if you can like this video, that'd be a massive help. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment. I will get back to any of your thoughts on this game, on this video in general. But let's talk about Chelsea. Now, Chelsea really, this was the game we all expected to win. We didn't. We've fallen short. Pochettino played the back four. We've been crying out for it. The back three, they've been looking disjointed. They've been looking like they don't really know each other. We've been looking very, very weak defensively. And this game, despite playing the back four, I still feel we look that way. I feel like we don't really have these defenders are when there are question marks that need to be answered, when there are times that they need to assert themselves, we don't look like we have that chemistry. Thiago Silva, of course, is at the heart of it, but Colwill and Disasi, there's just times where positionally and sort of they're not really stamping their authority. They don't quite look like a unit. And I think that will come. But defensively at times against Bournemouth, we switched off. And that was why they were able to hit us on the break, and they were able to create chances that were like within our penalty box that could have very easily ended up in a goal and Chelsea losing that game. Slightly concerning defensively, I must say, which is a new normal because last season, despite not being able to score goals, we were still quite astute defensively. I'm not sure about Disasi. I've expressed that already. I do feel that Badiashile or Chalobah would be better. Thiago Silva has got more chemistry with those two from what I've seen last season. And I haven't quite seen it with Disasi yet, but it's early doors. Now, Colwill left back and Malo Gusto right back. I thought they were fairly decent. I mean, Colwill didn't really bomb forward that much. He did almost get a goal that was ruled off for offside in the second half from a fantastic Sterling free kick. But I'm not quite sure as a left back. I know he can play on that left side. What he offers us there. Chilwell obviously didn't get picked. I think he picked up a knock. I'm not quite sure why he wasn't chosen, but an odd one there. We haven't got an out-and-out left back in that role. But Malo Gusto on the right was absolutely outstanding. I was so impressed with his performance. He made some great tackles. At any time, potentially, he did lose the ball. He did make a stray pass. He was so quick to win it back. And his pace is absolutely frightening. And he's a really, really good tackler of the ball. Really clean tackler. The only part of his game that I feel like is lacking is that delivery when he is further up the pitch. And Chelsea are in those good positions on the right to make an in-swinging ball. I feel like his delivery is sort of lacking, but it was a great game and he was potentially Chelsea's best player on the pitch. I've almost overlooked the goalkeeper. Robert Sanchez definitely had his best game in a Chelsea shirt so far. Good distribution, was authoritative and made big saves. I feel that without those saves, Chelsea definitely would have lost this game. That first half save was brilliant. He was out quick like a cat to smother that Bournemouth opportunity, and he made some great saves in the second half also with his foot, and he commanded the box anytime there was a ball in there. Sanchez had his greatest game for Chelsea so far, and hopefully there are more performances like that, because there have been some criticisms around him and his performances. He hasn't really assured me, but that was a good game. Good game from Sanchez. Now, the midfield of Leslie Ugochukwu, I can't say his name right yet, I'm sure I will, and Conor Gallagher was... Now, these are stopgap players, let's be honest. I think we're all waiting for Caicedo and Lavia to partnership in this area, and unfortunately, Caicedo picked up a knock on international duty, and Lavia, as we know, is going to be out for quite a bit of time, at least a few more games before we get to see him in a Chelsea shirt, which is very, very unfortunate. But I thought Leslie handled himself quite well. I thought he was a big presence and he's very tidy on the ball. It was quite hard to give a big assessment of Leslie, but I like from what I saw from him. There's definitely potential there. I'm not sure how involved he will be once Caicedo and Lavia are fit, but I thought he was a good performer. I can't criticise him too much. I didn't see too much. You'd love to think that he could be like a John Obi Mikel with his presence, and he's a towering figure and he's tidy on the ball. I would love it if he sort of grew into that type of player. There's glimpses of that. Of course, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I like what I saw. I'm not sure defensively. I didn't really see him make many tackles or interceptions that convinced me there, but I thought it was a decent game. Gallagher was busy as he always is, very busy. Always, running the hard yards, putting his body around, made some great passes, was good in possession, just didn't have that final cutting edge to his game where he makes the right pass and where, if he gets into goal scoring opportunities, he tucks them away. He had a glaring opportunity in front of goal where he hits it at the goalkeeper. He did well to feint and shrug off a Bournemouth defender, but he should have done better. And, there are a lot of opportunities in this game where we lack that cutting edge, so it's hard to put too much on Conor there. But, sometimes he just seems a bit flat-footed. He just doesn't have that killer instinct. But I thought Conor Gallagher was okay. This is what you get from him. I do really believe when Caicedo and Lavia are fit, Gallagher will be a squad player like Leslie, because I do think that those two have a bit more to their game, a bit more sharpness, a bit more intensity. Gallagher can be quite flat-footed at times, sort of half a yard off the game, the pace of the game. But decent performance from him, should have scored. Mudryk on the left as an inside. He got his opportunity to start a game after all the criticism surrounding him. I thought he had a good game. He linked up well with Jackson. He had opportunities to run down the left. He's just missing that sort of confidence where he could take games by the scruff of the neck, be more direct, take players on. Run wide, get some chalk on your boots, make things happen. He just lacks that, but this was a confidence-building game for him after all the negativity. I thought he played generally quite well. Enzo in the middle, we're seeing Enzo, number 8, more advanced, not playing in that sort of deeper midfield role. I thought he was good. It wasn't one of his outstanding games. You know, he played a lot of football, and it just shows how reliant we are. I think he played 2 games for Argentina, in like a high altitude in Bolivia, or something the commentator was saying. But it just shows how this is the most important player in our team at the moment. He wasn't afforded any rest. He played 80 minutes. He looked knackered as he came off. He looked absolutely knackered. He even got booked for walking off, which was absolutely ridiculous. This guy's been traveling all around the world, and as a referee, you wanna book the player for walking off. It's 0-0. Like, nobody's wasting time at this point. It's not like we're 1-up and we're trying to hold on to a lead. It's a fairly even game of football. And I thought Enzo, probably wasn't at his sharpest, but I will give him the fact that he was on international duty. He scored for Argentina, didn't he? But he probably was lacking a bit of match fitness. Could have done with the rest. Wasn't given it because he's just so pivotal to our plans. And I thought even just having him on the team, he probably was operating at like 60-70%. He was still very much needed. Sterling on the right created good opportunities. Of course, that chance in the first half where he dragged it, I really felt like he should have done better. It was a great pass from Gallagher. He should have tucked away that opportunity. He hits the crossbar in the second half from a free kick. Superb free kick. I did fancy him from that position. He's very good at sort of adjusting his body and getting that right curl on the ball. Very unfortunate for that not to go in. I thought, again, as you get with Sterling, there is a bit of hesitancy to his game. You think he's going to shoot, he passes. You think he's going to pass, he shoots. But, positive performance nonetheless. Hard to criticise Sterling at this point. He's giving it his all in a Chelsea shirt at the moment. So, fairly pleased. Nico Jackson, so unfortunate to have not tucked away that opportunity. There was a lot of criticism around Jackson's performance this game, sort of saying he looks lost. He can't finish his chances, but he does a lot, and I really believe that all this hard work is going to come good when Chelsea start having a bit more chemistry, when we start to know each other a bit better, when players understand Jackson when he's giving and going, when he's trying to break the lines, when he is willing to come deep. Him and Mudryk, they linked up so well in that first half, and I just think that there will be opportunities for Jackson and he will take them moving forward. So more of a positive performance. Was very unlucky where he hit the post. He could probably time his runs a bit better, get into some better positions, but it's early days, and this is what I keep saying, and this is the new normal. We need to lower expectations. We are not going to be hitting the ground running. These players are not going to start bagging goals, and we're not going to start playing beautiful free-flowing football just yet. I think we need to start looking at the latter stages of this season where we might see glimpses of that. Right now, it's about grinding out performances and not losing games of football, and we did that. We don't know how good Bournemouth are this season. They've got in a new manager. I thought they were pretty good. They matched us pretty much in every department of the pitch. They could have won this game. And I think that we should be considering this is a 0.1 rather than 2 points dropped. I really believe that. That's the new normal. Call me pessimistic. I don't care how much money was spent. I don't care about, all the ins and outs. The dust has only just settled. This is the time where we're going to see what this Chelsea team is made of, game by game. We cannot expect anything. Not only that, we are still without our talisman, Reece James, who's sort of as good as Gusto is and as brilliant he's been performing. Reece James is the leadership of Chelsea. He is the DNA of Chelsea. When he's on the pitch, he shows what it means to play for Chelsea, and he puts in those performances. He runs those hard yards when he's fully fit. And that is the type of leadership that a captain that you need in a team. At the moment, we've got captains, makeshift captains here and there. Gallagher is captain at the moment for that game, because he puts in the hard yards, because he puts in the effort, and that is, leading by example. But when James is fit, you're going to see these young players look at this guy and try and emulate those performances and try and emulate the effort that Reece James puts in for Chelsea week in, week out when he's fit. And of course, we're missing Nkunku. This cannot be overlooked here. yeah, we look scattered in front of goal because that sort of assurance that we saw from Nkunku in pre-season, you know, he's not as young as these other players. He's 25, 26. He was the best player in the Bundesliga last season. This project was largely based around Nkunku's arrival. And the fact that he's out is a big blow. And Chelsea just can't seem to catch a break with injuries. It's very, very disruptive to our plans. It's very, very disruptive to this project. And that's why we need to be patient. And I think until we see a fully fit Reece James, a fully fit Nkunku, a fully fit Caicedo who's got a run of games, like, what are we expecting here? This is a Chelsea team that has got we're a very big squad, but at the end of the day, our starting 11 is not the top, is not our first choice starting 11 at this present time. So that is what we need to come to terms with. Game by game, hopefully we're going to get better. And I'm just, honestly, I am pleased we didn't lose this game of football because we could have. If it wasn't for those big saves from Robert Sanchez, I truly believe we'd be talking about this Chelsea defeat, and then the Sharks will start circling, and that is when things become very negative. I'm just pleased we didn't lose this game of football. Guys, let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about where Chelsea are at the moment. It's a weird time. It's very weird considering how Chelsea fans are spoiled. We've been highly blessed for 2 decades now, and we've won everything under the sun. This is a season, and last season, these are unprecedented. This is new territory, and we need to come to terms with that. Even that Cobham season where we had our transfer embargo, we had our ban, you know, and we had Mason Mount, Reece James, Tammy Abraham, Tomori all break through. We were able to still, you know, be a respectable team that could compete and that were beating teams that were, you know, lesser, that were not as good as us and couldn't match us. But now it's not about that at the moment, because although we have all this talent, we don't have a system, a tried and trusted system, and these players are sort of just falling into line slowly, and it's going to be a while until we get that winning formula. And I think we need to be patient. Guys, let me know what you think. I really want to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you think I'm being pessimistic. Let me know if you think that we need to be setting our standards higher. I think that is where we've been going wrong. And I think that is where, you know, this sort of toxic and criticism surrounding the club and around the players is not conducive and it is not helpful. Like this video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Leave a comment in the comment box. I will be sure to get back to you. And I'll see you in another video very, very shortly. In a bit.